What products are we serving from Cool Tropics? Next on Food for Thought. Hi, I'm Jodi, the host for Food for Thought, and thanks for watching. Today I'm honored to have a guest that's very near and dear to my heart here in Anne Arundel County. It's Frank Massabni. He's the president and the CEO of Cool Paradise Incorporated. Welcome, Frank, to Food for Thought.
Thank you very much for having me on, Miss Rissy, and pleasure to be here. Absolute pleasure to be here. My name is Frank Massabni. I'm the founder and CEO of Cool Tropics. Started Cool Tropics over 30 years ago. We are headquarters out of beautiful Bedford, Massachusetts. My wife and I spent time between Bedford and Miami, between Boston and Miami. And a little over a year ago, we talked about doing this podcast, and I'm glad we were able to find the time to make it happen. Thanks for having me on.
Great. Thank you for being here. And thank you especially for spending time, together in the studio to really share the story about Cool Tropics and what your product does for districts really across the country. Can you tell the viewers a little bit, so I know we said you're the president and the CEO, but tell them just a little bit about your role and I guess what would you do on a day-to-day basis?
So on a day-to-day basis, I am blessed to have an amazing team. And we try to keep the main thing, as one of my teammates, Dana, would say. And that is we feed kids like you do. That's our vision for what we do. We feed kids. So as long as we keep our eye on the main ball of doing that, what we want to do is be able to create fun products that kids love. So for me personally, after 30 years in business, I'm blessed to have an amazing team. I have great leaders on my team. So I'm in a position now where I can lead leaders. And so some of the days I'm focused with sales and marketing. Some of the days I'm focused with accounting, oftentimes with operations and manufacturing. That's when I'm not traveling. I do travel quite a bit around the country because I love to see our customers. That's where we learn the most. And we're feeding kids at the end of the day. So for me, I don't have a set role or set day, and I love that about my job, and especially when I'm out with customers. So as much as I can be out of the office and with customers to see what the needs are, what the kids want, what the kids' needs are, what our customers' needs are. That's the best part.
And it's funny, I think it's very similar roles we play, right? I mean, mine very small in scope, right? You're really leading the whole country with what you have. But it's funny that I do a little bit of production. And it's all the places that you and I have touched base on, right? From marketing to a little bit of, how do we receive the products? Do we receive them timely? How do we receive the products? You're working with our distribution point. As well as with us. So I do find it interesting that you dabble in it all. And I always feel I probably dabble in way too much myself. But it's nice because you really have a pulse of what goes on and you get to see those students, right? I mean, and that's where it changes, I think, the trajectory for what we do each and every day. The second you see that student and the nutritional value that we provide changes everything, right? It just fuels your soul.
Absolutely. Yesterday I was visiting with Baltimore County Schools, and I was speaking with John, and they have a new teammate in Blaine, and I said, Blaine, you've been here 6 months. School food service, once you are in it for a while and you really get to see the kids eating with us and what they need, that changes your life. Mm-hmm. And John shared that when he was, new in his position, he met this young lady that on a Monday at a school, she said, my last meal was last Friday. And I didn't have a real meal over the weekend. So what we do does matter. We're feeding the future of America.
Mm-hmm. And keeping them focused in school. I love the part that we're such an integral part of the education process, right? I think sometimes you'll hear a person say, we're just feeding the kids. I'm like, it's so much more, right? It's nutrition education. It's keeping them fueled and ready to learn in the classroom and grow in the classroom. And really, they could even go home and talk about some of the stuff they eat while at school, breakfast or school lunch, and get their family excited about it. So I always say we cultivate communities of wellness, because if we have the student excited about it, it just trickles right down to their whole family.
100%. It's like, we have a cell phone. We all have cell phones, right? We charge it at the end of the day or at one point because the battery needs charging. Mm-hmm. We are fueling and charging the kids. Mm-hmm. If we're not feeding them, they can't study on an empty stomach. They won't be with us. They won't be thinking about that. So we want to maximize that. We want to give them every tool to be successful.
Oh, no, I agree. And I think it's why I think we both, and I think it's all school nutrition professionals, I think we think alike, right? I think we all have that same passion. So you talked about your team. I've been able to meet some of your team members. How important was it when I look at my team even, right, at AACPS. You put this dynamic team together. Can you talk a little bit about the team members and just your leadership and the way you pull your team together for the best results for all of your customers, being really all of us as districts and then the students, is really nothing short of amazing. It's fantastic.
Thank you, Jodi.
Share a little bit about that. And I think the teams are so important, but I'd love to share with the viewers a little bit about your team, more specific, right, of all your intricate pieces of it. And then I'll probably even have to talk a little bit about my team.
I look forward to that. And by the way, it takes one to know one. It takes a person who has a great team to know another person with a great team. When you're in business over 30 years, for me, there are two things that are the most important to me after 30 years. One is team culture, and second is relationships. Because business comes and goes, but relationship stays. I know a lot of companies talk about team culture, but when you do something for a long time, whether you're in my position or your position, when I was a new leader, I had to learn on my own. There's no, you can read about it in books, but until you're in it, you have to learn on your own. So for example, one of our teammates, Bill, talks about if you want to learn how to swim, you can read about it so much in a book, but until you jump in the pool and really start kicking and blowing bubbles and all that, how do you do it? You have to jump in the pool.
Right.
So team leaders, when they're young, now we're blessed to have, so many years under our belt. So for us, when we talk about team culture, two things that matter to me the most in that. One is someone that's very good at what they do. Equally as important is they buy into our vision and mission. I don't need a superstar that does not buy into our vision and mission. I'm okay without that superstar. It took me 20 years, Jodi, to figure that out. Mm-hmm. But if you have a superstar that's not a team player or who's going to talk badly behind someone at a water cooler, well, if they're talking about someone badly behind their back, they're going to do that to us too. So what I look for is someone who's good at what they do and who's a team player. Because if we truly have that, you can have an amazing team that becomes the superstar, not one individual superstar. And, for us, that's at the end of the day, the last thing I'll say about that is when we hire someone, I'm usually the last person in the interview process. So if they made it to me, that's very good. Mm-hmm. And the last thing I say before I hang up the phone, after I go through my questions, the last thing I say to them is, please do not take this job. If it's offered to you, do not take it if you're not willing to put the team first. It does not make you a bad person. If that's not who you are, you have to be true to who you are. Mm-hmm. But if you sincerely look to put the team first, then you are welcome on this team. And I promise you in return, the team will put you first too. Mm-hmm. I'd love to hear about your team.
Yeah, and I think it's so similar, right? And even you just talked about the interview process. So we have a team that does the first set of interviews. And it's a team that knows AACPS very well, right? So they know our inner workings, they know what our mission is, they know what we stand for with fruits and vegetables and the importance of fruits and vegetables for our students. So it's interesting is that team brings forth the top three or four candidates. So I already know, I have faith in the system that they're going to really pull the best candidates forward. Then we do a few tests, right? And we just want to be able to see, again, I think it's that quality of work, right? Can they do a few of these things? Can they market? Can they write some letters, right? We look at some generic things like that. And then all of a sudden it's back to their peers. I let them interview with their peers. And then I'm the final interview. And it's funny because I always say, why Anne Arundel County Public Schools? I love it. It's 30 years for me. When I came, I'm like, I don't know. Will I be here 2 years, 4 years, 5 years? 30 years later, it is the best place to work. And it's the best, the support system, the students, the families, everybody is just, I don't know, we're so united. That's really what I want to see in the candidate as well. And I think it's true. It's that relationships matter. And I know we're going to talk about all different things, but maybe we should talk about the first time how we met. I think it's comical.
I love that story.
I think it's special, and I think the viewers would get a kick out of it. Going back, I could see it in my mind as clear as day.
Me too.
So why don't you kick it off?
You start first?
You kick it off. Yeah.
All right, because every story has two sides, right? Uh-huh. So I'll give you my version.
Very good.
So I think this is going back a couple of years ago. We were at the National Convention, mm-hmm. the annual conference. That year happened to be in Orlando. And School Nutrition Association, I'm so blessed and honored. They honored me that year with the National Industry Member of the Year. And you and I don't do this for awards. Thank you. You and I don't do this for awards. We do it because we want to feed kids. So it's a huge honor when you are recognized that way. And so my wife actually flew in for that. And we went to check out the space and they want to show you the stage and give you behind the scenes what's going on, what time, etc. And I remember I want to go back to my hotel with my wife and across the bridge because it was middle of the summer in Orlando. So we're crossing the bridge just to go back and put a suit on because I want to be on the stage in front of 4,000 or 5,000 people. And I saw you from way far away, like way down there. And I thought you were my friend Sandy from Albuquerque, New Mexico. So I'm waving to you and I'm doing this. And I think you and your teammates, you had 3 teammates with you and you had your hand over your mouth and you're like, and I saw them shake their head and I'm like, oh no. So my wife said, I don't think that's Sandy. And I'm like, I think you may be, the closer we got, I'm like, I think you may be right. And we both were polite and we shook, we waved, but you had that smile on your face and that sparkle in your eye. And I'm like, I need to meet that person because that's a good soul right there. I didn't know who you worked for, which district. I didn't know if you were at the school industry, SNA. And here we are. So
yeah, and I guess on my side, very similar, right? So I was there with the team from Anne Arundel County, and that was the year I was. I had the privilege and the honor to be the representative from the Maryland State Director of the Year. So I was there in the running to be the director for the country. It was already the Maryland State Directorship. So I was so proud as a peacock, right? I was there with my team and I was just, we loved it. We were loving meeting people and making relationships and we were walking towards you. And I remember you and your wife coming towards us and it was the biggest wave you could have ever given anyone. And I just remember looking at the team and I was like, I really don't know who he is. And they're like, you have to. And I was like, I don't think I know who he is. I'm like, I'm going to just wave back because he's so friendly. You were just so charming, right? I was like, I'm going to wave back. So we go into the conference, I don't know. Maybe there was an hour between when we both waved and it was right. To next thing I know, you're walking across the street or across the stage as the industry director of the year. And I was like, whew, how about that? There's this gentleman that, I think I know now that's up there getting this national, honor and privilege. So it was so funny. Afterwards, we got together.
That's right. That's right.
Right. And then you said, who are you? Right. And I can remember us having the whole discussion. And then in the interim, I've had the opportunity over the past few years of working with Sandy out of New Mexico, Albuquerque, numerous times. And every time we're together, all we could do is chuckle because even her own kid said, her daughter is like, you guys look just alike. My husband said, you have a twin. She's really my twin, on the other side of the country.
And as you get to know her, you love her, right? She's an amazing person. For me, I believe that God put us in this position to meet each other. I believe that we were meant to meet. And I also look back and the way I met my wife. We lived 1 mile away from each other in Boston, but we never met in Boston. We met in London, England.
Wow.
And where do you live? Where do you live? I'm in Boston. Turns out to be, lo and behold, 1 mile away. So God put each other in that path, and I feel the same way here.
Yeah, no, it's really funny. And I know we tell everybody the story, right? And then it was the following day when we were going through the food show, right?
That's right.
And we were kind of working our way through the food show. And I think I was probably talking away to somebody across the way. Yeah, I always am like saying too much probably. And then there you were. And it was just, I think it was an instant bond, an instant connection. What did you have for our students in Anne Arundel County and how could we really partner? And from there, it has been a really, really perfect partnership and relationship.
And we feel the same way, and we're blessed to have the partnership as well. And so we're grateful for that.
Good. How about if we relationships are so key to both of us.
Yeah.
But let's talk about who would internal and external partners be for you, right? So as Cool Tropics and as you look at what you do for school districts, who are internal and external partners that you work with? And how is it key to, a key ingredient to success, I think, in every business or in every school district? You always have to be looking outside of what we're comfortable with and outside of our own little home.
That's right. So, being the CEO and doing this a long time, like we both have, there's a lot going on in that circle that you just mentioned. So first, I think part of the culture we discussed earlier, What I tell my teammates, if we can treat everyone that touches our business, A, as a partner, and B, the same way we treat our customer, because everyone treats their customer the best way possible, right? But if you treat your vendors and your banker and accountant and lawyers and the janitor that comes to clean the place and everyone that touches your business, if you treat them with respect, that will resonate as well. So whether they're external or internal, we treat them all with respect. So that's number one. If we have that, then we have the start. So for us, we, on a regular basis, we deal with manufacturers. We deal with raw material suppliers. In particular, farmers. So we deal with farmers, for example, in New York. We deal with farmers in Texas. We deal with farmers in California, and we'll get to that as well. And then, you look at our community as K-12. So now let's go external a bit. So look at our community K-12. I call it the circle of trust. We have our own circle of trust. Robert De Niro in the movie has his own circle of trust. We have our own circle of trust. So, and that circle goes as this. So we have our schools, that's you, feeding the kids. So you're on the front line feeding the kids. Our schools need SNA to take care of all these regulations for your School Nutrition Association, the amazing people. I love those people. The hard work they do, they have the same passion we have. Otherwise, why be in the business?
Right, and the resources that they provide us, right?
Resources.
It's always that phone, it's a phone call away, it's a website away to say, I need help with the legislation, or I just need help with a fact sheet about, the benefits of school meals. It could be that simple.
That's right. I'm a New Floridian, for example, so now I vote in Florida, so we represent the schools in Florida here in D.C., and I asked the CEO, Patty Montague, please come talk to our Florida delegation. She didn't say I'm too busy. She said, absolutely, let's do it. And she flew on a Friday night, was with us on a Saturday night, took her time from her own weekend to be with us. So part of that circle, the schools. Schools need School Nutrition Association. School Nutrition Association to survive, they need our industry partners. So I'm part of that community. And we have amazing industry partners, Jodi. I had the pleasure 2 years ago to attend the patron meeting. So usually when we attend national conventions or national conferences, we want to hang out with our customers. This is the patron meeting is the only one that there were not many customers. It's all about industry. And I'm like, wow, I was so impressed with the quality of the people we have in our industry and the knowledge they bring to K-12. And I left feeling, okay, we are in great hands. And then that's the three that covers the circle. Inside that, we have our brokers. So your ex-teammate Marla is now in Florida. She's our broker in Florida. How about that? I love that.
Small world,
because I love her. I love Marla. And then so you have our brokers. You have our distributors. You have state agencies. And equally as important in my mind is the USDA. They do so much for us. And they're just amazing people. And they're there for us whenever we need them. So that's really the circle of trust for K-12. And, you get a lot more with honey than vinegar. I was told that a long time ago. And it's so true. So, and I always say big customers become small and small customers become big. You treat them all the same. And that's how we really interact with people. And that's our methodology. And if you have your team drinking that Kool-Aid and having it the cool way, then we're okay.
And I think you touched all those partners and we all touch them, right?
That's right.
Every single day, one of those pieces of that pie that's important to you in your business is important to Anne Arundel County School Nutrition too, right? And it's all still part of our circle. And ours goes to students and students to families and families to communities. But they're very similar in very different roles. And I think that's one of my favorite things about working with manufacturers, right? And knowing where our products come from. Let's talk a little bit about the product, right? So we use one of your products. I love that you already touched base about the farm. Farm to school is so important for us. And our local farmers that are right here, we go to the farm, we videotape on the farm. We have students try new things from the farm. It's really, really awesome to have a student learn where their food comes from.
That's right.
So what are some of the products that, we now buy in Anne Arundel County from you? And then just a little bit of that piece, like why was that farm so important to the Concord grape that created something that we buy from you?
Absolutely. So we started earlier in the conversation about the vision. And the vision is to feed the kids. So that takes it now to the mission. And our mission is, for us, each company is different, and each company has to be true to its own mission. And that is, for us, for Cool Tropics, it's important that we provide a fun experience, not just product. A fun experience. We want to be a fun product that the kids love. that they say, I want to eat lunch when that product is on the menu. So oftentimes, we see kids line up for pizza. We see kids in different states line up for, let's say, tacos or chicken nuggets. So usually, oftentimes, the entree drives participation. We're blessed to have a product that the kids love, that when it's on the menu, they say, Mom, Dad, I'm going to eat at school tomorrow. And we see that all the time. When the pandemic hit, Jodi, every week, we get 2 emails minimum. Every single week. My kids miss this product at school, or I have special need kid and they need it. Where can we get it? And we just focus on K-12 schools. That's our partnership. We don't do retail. We're not in retail. For us, it's more important to be in K-12 schools. So that's the mission, is to get kids excited about the food they eat. Now we get into, okay, what is it that the schools need? The schools need, easy to handle fruits and vegetable. So we have a vegetable product, fruit product, and there's been some new products you haven't showed you yet that are coming on board, or we just launched a couple of months ago. So I'm excited to show you that. At the end of the day, we want to offer easy to handle, fun experience products that can be on the menu that the kids say, I want that fruit slushy, or I want that vegetable slushy. And now we have Farm to School by American juices. For example, we partner with Welch's. Welch's is one of our partners. We have exclusivity for the K-12 schools nationwide, coast to coast in Hawaii with Welch's. And we own the recipes with them. We have a beautiful partnership with them. They've been around over 152 years. They have a trusted brand. So we want to represent them with the respect they deserve and earn. So I was personally on the farm picking the Concord grape from Western New York and from Western Michigan.
Wow.
Right there, and just eating it. I didn't care about washing. I just ate it right there, the Concord grape, right at the Welch's farms. That's important to us, because at the end of the day, if we can offer a local farm-to-school product where we can, when we can, that's a preference. That's a preference for us.
And just think the value you're adding for that farmer, right? So I say it all the time when we're able to buy. So we don't have a warehouse in Anne Arundel County. So everything, our fresh produce comes through a produce distribution point. So they collect the produce for us and they deliver it to the schools. But it's amazing when I'm able to say to our vendor, I would really love to buy from Schlegel Farms. I would really love to buy from Pfeiffer. I would really love to buy from Baywater Greens. It's so nice to be able to say, wow, I just was able to buy, it's hundreds and hundreds of cases. So I know that helped that farmer, and it helped the farm hands that he has or she has on their farm, right? Like, just the sustainability of what we're doing to help the economy locally and then filter it back into our school system, I think is wonderful. So like in your case with Welch's, that's huge.
Thank you.
And then I think there's, and I could be wrong, so if I'm messing it up, but I think there was either a potato. No, there's something
sweet potato, yes.
Yeah, so you do that for the vegetable component.
We do that for the vegetable component. So sweet potato is important to us. It's very important, actually. We are in the middle of testing sweet potato from different farmers around the country, out in the West Coast. It's a goal of ours to do something on the East Coast, especially in the Carolinas, Georgia area. And the key is to find not just the farmers we can find. It's the processors. And we're finding less and less processors are processing right now. So that's important for us, I think, to look at as the United States of America, as, even national security, in my opinion, to be able to process those things. So, like you said, it's important for the farmer. I have seen farmers that said to me, thank you, because if we don't juice this for you, we have to throw it away or feed it to cattle. And you have changed our life that way. People said that to us. So it's important to continue that. So we're testing sweet potato that are local out on the West Coast, and we're looking for processors here. For example, on a separate topic, Florida, state of Florida, we're known for the oranges back in the day and orange juice. Now the oranges crop because of the hurricanes we've had recently, the few back-to-back hurricanes we've had recently. That's been affected. It's hard to find now. It's not, it's so scarce that we're looking to say, okay, who is willing to process at this point?
Right.
We have farmers that want to process it. Who's willing to process? But on a fun note, I'm going to turn this back to you, Jodi. How many schools do you have in your district?
So we have 123 schools in the district.
So you know what I call that, right? Sorry to interrupt you. You know what I call that? That's 123 restaurants.
It is. We say the same thing. We believe they're all cafes, right? And they're all there for the students when they come through. Often on the show, I talk about it that students don't have to eat with us, right? And you probably see that across the country. So we are a closed campus, but they could have a bag lunch. Maybe they skip lunch. Maybe they skip breakfast. We should be there every day. So when they come in, we're welcoming, we're inviting. The environment looks great. The staff look great. They're excited to see the students, and we're hoping that they're eating with us, that they're not going to miss that, school meal, either breakfast or lunch with us.
100%. And when I mentioned earlier that this is an experience and a program, not a product, what we do in our part, and I see other industry partners are doing more and more of that now, is to help you and help our schools market it. Not just, okay, here's the product.
Right.
No. How do you market it?
And you do it very well. You and your team do it very well, right? From flyers to Hawaiian lays, right? To stickers, to flower clips in your hair.
That's right.
All those pieces. And I think that was so crystal clear when we first met with you, that here's this product. The students are going to love it. It speaks for itself. And it is. It's delicious. And it is... I'm going to call it a slushy goodness in a pouch, right?
I mean,
it's so good. But it's all those pieces, and it's the time that your staff take to come back to Anne Arundel and to all districts just like ourselves to say, what do you need on the flyer? What do you want the flower to say? So if it's going to be around a Wednesday, do we want to tie it into, something creative that's going on in Anne Arundel County nationally? Are we going to talk about National School Breakfast Week and have that embedded in the flyer?
That's right.
So that really is the added advantage for sure as an operator that I see coming from Cool Tropics.
Thank you. So for us to market, we think about multiple levels. The kids and the parents, because now, FOMO is real, fear of missing out. Parents don't want the kids to miss out. This generation we are feeding right now, their parents want the best for their kids. Not that our parents did not, but with social media and everything, oh my God, did you know tomorrow is National So-and-so Day? And are you going to have that cheeseburger or pizza or pasta because it's National Pasta Day or National Cheeseburger Day at the school? They go back. If we promote it, they go back. If it's out of sight, out of mind, they don't. Then we also think about the staff. So oftentimes we'll do like a, frozen fun Friday or a fun day Monday. Give the staff a break on a Friday. Or if the produce did not arrive for some reason on a Monday, you have something to serve right away. So we constantly think about those things to put our schools and your staff in a position to be successful, but also let the kids know it's here. And that's something we constantly focus on.
It is, and we have so many pictures that just depict, I think, the excitement that happens at our staff level and us. We're excited too. We want to, be all part of the dress up and the celebration of the product and the excitement that it's doing for our students. So we are really out of time. I knew it would go way too fast and we probably needed an hour plus, but thank you for your products. Thank you for your partnership and thank you for your team. They really make such a difference for Anne Arundel County.
And Jodi, thank you and your team for feeding the kids, especially those most in need. Thank you for that.
Thank you. As you can see, Cool Tropics is a key partner in Anne Arundel County Public Schools and in districts across the country. Each and every day, those students look forward to those Cool Tropics snacks that are going to be on that line, a half a cup of fruit, a half a cup of vegetable with a little bit of a Hawaiian lei and maybe even a flower in your hair. If you have any questions about the school meals program, please call me at 410-222-5900. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time on Food for Thought.